Hello, everyone. My name's Hank Sutala, and I'm here with Sean Phillips. And here's another awesome episode, class, whatever this is, of Power Possibilities,
It's
a gathering of possibility.
a gathering of possibilities.
Cool. And the way that this works, we basically take your interaction, your feedback, whatever questions you might have, and we speak to that. And while I'm thinking about it, I need to change my Facebook thing so it's public and we can see comments if people make a comment. So let me go do that. So, is there anything in particular you wanted to start with today?
Well, as we were talking about, how about we ask some questions? What is possible for tonight? A good access consciousness tool. What else is possible?
Oh, wow. Well, this is rough here.
Yeah, we're a little slow to get started. Um,
Okay, well, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice could we be to create the greatest possibility for tonight for not just the people that will be live with us, but all those that might watch it in the archive or the replay?
yeah,
And everything that doesn't allow that, we will change it. What was it? Break? What was it? The thing on the whiteboard from last time.
break, smash, and uncreate.
Yes. So this is a twofold. What we're doing tonight is interacting with you, what questions you have, what things are in your world, and the things that are preventing you from having the possibilities in your life. We will help to smash, break, and uncreate. And you can't see it, but Sean does still have the whiteboard there off to the side. So if we have anything that we need to write on there, we have it.
Yeah, I was feeling more possibilities with Star-Lord, Peter Quill tonight than the whiteboard, so you get Star-Lord tonight.
Cool. And we are going to next week. Normally, we would do Conversations with God on the fourth Thursday, but because I screwed up and booked a class, a 6 week series, we're going to move it to next Tuesday. So you can tune in next Tuesday for a little dose of possibility, a little bit more centered around the work of Conversations with God books by Neil Donald Walsh. But nonetheless, we will have something next Tuesday for you. But for those of you who are tuning in, I see a couple of viewers. Is there anything on your mind? And if you are making comments, I have noticed that sometimes it doesn't roll over from Facebook. If you go to YouTube and make a comment, we'll definitely see it. But you can go ahead and ask your questions or say what's going on in your world. Uh, oh, one thing I have to share with you. Somebody from last week, you remember Mary, who participated a lot and she was asking questions and had a lot of things going on?
Yeah,
Yeah, she posted on one of the links for tonight. She's like, last week's was so good. She says she highly recommends it. Last week was so good that it created so much possibility in her life. She actually has other things she has to do tonight because of possibilities that opened up. So how cool is that?
that is pretty cool. Thank you for the kind words, Mary, and glad that you had some pretty dynamic change off of just the call. So look forward to hearing what has changed since last Tuesday. That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah, and that was a comment she made on the group post, but pretty cool. So if you guys are joining us, whatever's going on in your world, let's see what would be the greatest contribution for everybody. Let's see. Well, we did already alluded to it. What else is possible? And with this one question, it's an access tool. And basically, it's really effective when you run into a block in your life, or if you run into something where you don't feel any momentum and it feels like you just don't have any momentum to get through it. You ask what else is possible, and it basically gives the universe a cue to show you or open up in your world another possibility. Did you? Oh no, you didn't freeze. You're reading. Got it. For a
Yeah,
second, it looked like your can
I
froze.
was yeah. Got to manage these multiple monitors and displays. It's very
Oh, you're
technical.
fancy. Cool. Well, that's what else is possible. Access tool. And let's see what Sean's reading up on. No pressure.
No pressure. No, I was just I'm logged in so I can see us on the YouTube, just in case there's comments that
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 you
don't
can't
show
see.
up. Yeah.
Very cool. I was doing the same thing on mine. I noticed it on my personal profile for some reason. Even if I make it public, sometimes that's where the questions come in or the comments, and then I don't see them. So, but
Yeah.
yep, for those of you who just joining us, my name's Hank Suttle, and I'm here with Sean Phillips, and this is just an open forum for people to chat in comments, ask questions. There's no topic that's off limits, whatever going on in your world. And one question that we could ask just with COVID-19, and that being on the top of everybody's minds, is what possibilities can come out of the current situation in the world. Just like for Sean and I, we're doing this class virtually for the first time, where normally we have it at the center. And last time we had people tuning in from Connecticut, I think, or like
Connecticut.
places
Yeah.
places hours away that we never would have reached otherwise. So for us, with the need to go virtual for so much of it, it created a huge blessing for us, an opportunity to reach people we never would have been able to reach otherwise. So that's just one little example. But asking the question, what possibility could I create with what appears to be something that is a limitation? You just ask that question, and it can really create the space for you to grow into something new and different.
Yeah. What would it take for us to ask a question like that and perceive that there may be a different possibility available, even when the world is going insane and there's a lot of fear and anxiety and nervousness out in the general consciousness. What possibilities are available to you that maybe aren't available to others, or that you're willing to go to a place in a space that others maybe don't have available? What capacity do you have to engage with the possibilities for yourself? And are you willing to step out and be different in that regard, and not go with the general vibe of, oh my gosh, this is terrible. We need to be fearful. Am I going to have a job tomorrow? And I understand, for many people that is the reality, that they're in sectors that have been hit harder by the COVID-19 quarantine period, with not being able, retail sector, amongst others, being highly impacted. So even if you are thinking you may be impacted, ask a question. What else is possible here? Um, what else can I do that I maybe hadn't thought of before, that could change what is going on in my life? And that question is really key to creating the change. It's one of the laws of the universe: ask and receive. So when you're willing to ask that question to open up a space for the possibility, that's where you can actually see a change, where maybe you didn't think it was possible before. So for anybody that's going through some tough times because of the COVID stuff, ask a good question. What else is possible here? What can I do different today that can create something greater for me? And just ask kind of questions like that and see what shows up. Personal experience says it's usually something pretty cool, or something we don't expect, as long as we're open to it.
Right. That's one of the things too. Like when you ask a question, not to get in the mindset of having an expectation of how that is supposed to show up for you. Because if you have the idea that I'm going to ask this question and it's going to show up a certain way, it may cut us off from receiving the million different ways the universe could have brought us a different experience. So really asking, and then just being an open, the hollow bone, if you will, of being able to receive whatever is going to flow to you, or through you rather, from the universe.
Yeah. So it's really that question that opens up a possibility. So when you ask a question, you tend to drift towards a line of thought, or things start coming to mind that are different, and that difference is the possibility, or a possibility that we can choose. So that's the power of a question, and questions are what creates possibilities for us. So that's how come Hank and I think every show have to talk about
Without fail.
questions.
Right, because all the other tools are kind of dependent of asking a question. You ask a question, you gain an awareness, and whenever you make a choice, I feel the need to distinguish between a choice and a decision. In the energy of decision and conclusion, it creates a box of limitation. But when you choose, it's just a choice, and 10 seconds later you can choose again. But if you came to a definition or conclusion, you kind of add solidity to whatever it is that you're doing. So always choose and keep the space available and the possibility available for you to choose something else, and just keep the choices flowing. And because if you're in the space of I'm never going to choose anything, was told I was going to go home and I have to stay there for weeks because we're on lockdown or whatever. If you don't, if you let that be your conclusion and definition, and don't ask a question to make a choice to do something different, then you're kind of locked into that limitation. So it's about asking the question to create the space to step into something new, out of the limitation and into the possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Ask a Question tool, that does come from the modality Access Consciousness. It's in a lot of their introductory classes, and a lot of practitioners and facilitators will talk about these tools. So myself, I'm a Access Bars facilitator, and Hank, you're an Access Bars facilitator as well.
I am. Yep.
So we have good backgrounds with Access, and that is the questioning and the possibility. Those are things that come from Access. Just want to clear that up. So if you're really interested more in the tools, we encourage you to check out Access Consciousness online and see what that's about. A lot of good materials and resources out there.
Yeah. I see Mike's making a comment. He says he's cheating, but it's a bit out of context, Mike, if you want to elaborate on how you're cheating or
Yeah, are you cheating on your diet? Are you cheating on your
yeah.
significant other? Are
I don't
you
know.
cheating on, your homework?
Yeah, it's a bit out of but if you are cheating, what possibility could that create? What's right about that that you're not getting, I guess. Hi Hank, you can hear Sean really well, but you are hard to hear. Maybe that's very odd. I'm plugged in. Let me switch
What
to
else
this
is
reports.
possible? And hi, Bonnie. And hi, Mike. How are you guys today? Anything going on in your worlds?
All right, I do have I'm plugged into a different port. I don't know if that's helping at all, Bonnie. Can you hear me a little bit better? Double call. Oh, Mike's cheating, meaning he's on a different. He's participating in two things at once. He does that sometimes. Crazy guy. Bonnie, can you hear me better? No? Maybe? If not, then Sean's just going to have to carry us. I'll just log off and let Sean go.
All right, everybody. So welcome to Power Possibilities with Sean Edward Phillips. I'll be your host. Who's this Hank guy?
Or maybe Bonnie can't hear me, and that's why she hasn't responded.
It could be. Bonnie, if you can't hear Hank, he's been asking if you can hear him now.
Still not very loud. I don't know what else to do with that. Let's see if there's any settings I can change. But microphone, Logitech, USB headset. I don't know. I guess I just have to. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I bet you that will fix it. What I just did.
Yeah, that definitely changed something.
Yeah, there was this little checkbox that says "Don't do this unless you're a professional," and I checked it, and I just was using it to test something with the AirPods. I
Hank
should try that again.
overestimating his audio technical level.
Oh man!
Expert.
Oh man, that is not crazy. Well, I wonder now if the little AirPod things I was trying out were
Hey,
working,
Jason.
and it was because of that little checkbox that I checked that it wasn't working. I'll have to try it after this. Jason, I assume now you can hear me better than before. Now that I unclicked the little box, it says check this.
Oh,
Only if you're a
great now.
professional.
You are great now. Nice.
No, I went from okay to great. You know,
Yeah.
speaking, just a fun story. I got to talk to the guy who did the voice of Tony the Tiger once. A fun fact.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I asked him to do it for me on the call, and he did. So it
He's
was
got a
pretty
blue
cool.
nose.
Yeah. What, Tony?
Probably sounded like just like the commercial.
No,
Is his
I
name
don't really
Tony?
remember.
Is the guy who played
No,
Tony the Tiger's name Tony? That
not
would
at
be
all. At the
funny.
time, it was just a guy who did a lot of different voiceover work, and he called in for a
Wow.
credit line increase, and I was the credit analyst that took the call. For those of you who don't know, believe it or not, I have 10 years of experience in finance, for better or
It
for
was more
worse.
fun until you said it was a credit call. Just leave that part out. Makes it way less exciting.
Well, still, it was exciting for me. I talked to a couple of famous people who called in for credit line increases from time to time, so it was fun. Well, good. I'm glad that you guys can hear me now. So now let's like pretend we're starting over. This is Power Possibilities. I'm Hank. This is Sean, and we're talking about questions. And you can ask anything you like. You can bring up any topic that you want, and we will speak to it. And because this is really about when we do this in person, we have it, both people in person and we're streaming it, and we basically feed off of the audience energy to see where we're going to go with the conversations. So we'd like to
Yeah.
start with a few things. Questions is always a great place to start. Asking a question creates such great possibilities and awareness. But where would you guys like to go? Because I know that you can hear us now, so you have no excuse not to go to a topic or ask a question.
Yeah. And we say we will address everything that comes up in the chat. We won't guarantee that it will be a long topic. Yeah, we may just. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that one.
Yeah,
Okay, we
or
probably won't do that.
sometimes it's a deeper rabbit hole than what we can do. What did you see one that I didn't see? Did someone give us?
No.
Yeah. Well, how does it get any better than that? That's what Mike said. What else is possible? There's two things that I want to take right now, and he's like, I'm just going to do both. That's what's possible.
Yeah. So for anyone out there who didn't think you could do 2 calls at once, what else is possible?
Actually, one time Mike came to a yoga class, and while he was taking the yoga class, he had his headset in, and he was like listening to an Access class while he did the yoga and sound bath. So
It's a lot going
he's a
on.
multitasker. Cool.
Oh, hi, Holly.
Yeah. Holly has a question. So it says, I have so many tools in my toolbox that sometimes I feel overwhelmed. For instance, I might feel worried and stressed, but don't know which tool to use to feel better. Advice?
Yeah, ask a question. Which tool will work?
Yeah. So the question. No, I caught it, Holly. I said it correctly. I knew what you were putting down there. But the question to ask would be, which tool could create the greatest change and possibility here? And then just see if one tool shines to you over another, if one kind of stands out. And if it doesn't, just pick one. And the next 10 seconds, you can pick a different tool if it's not working for you. Because it's all about having an awareness, making a choice, and then based on whatever your experience is, making another choice and having another awareness, and just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, probably asking ask the question tool is the tool to start with usually if you're not sure or feeling like you have too many options. What's required for me here? What'll create the most? What do I need? What could I use to change this? Those kind of questions can put you down towards getting to other tools. Sometimes it's just the question, does this belong to me?
Oh yeah, and just the energy behind your question, like the feeling of overwhelmed, just bringing it back up, and feeling stress and things like that, especially as an empath. And I'm not labeling you as an empath. Maybe you are one, maybe you aren't. My guess is you are. But is the stress and anxiety even yours, especially with the fear and anxiety of the world being at such a heightened level? Those of us who are sensitive to other people's thoughts, feelings, and things going on, a great tool to start with there would be, is it even mine? And if not, then is it even mine to deal with? And that could be a great starting tool if you're feeling anxiety and stress specifically, because 99% of what we experience sometimes isn't even ours.
Yeah, and Is This Mine being another Access consciousness tool. Access actually offers a great app that is free to download. It is the Is This Mine app, and it reminds you for any time you have a thought, feeling, or emotion, or maybe a pain or stress, it kind of reminds you throughout the day to ask, is this mine? Does it belong to me? Really good app for assisting in letting go of things that aren't yours.
Isn't it
So
the
they don't have to have these influences over you anymore.
actually, isn't the Who Does This Belong To app?
It might be the
Or
Who Does
what
This Belong To app. We might want to double
I
check
think
that.
it's this one. Boom. Yep, I'll check it out. And
Yeah.
Mike should know. It's always, I hear it going off in the background all the time when he takes classes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like a little chime, bing, and it's just your cue to ask yourself the question, whose is this? Who does this belong to?
Yeah.
And it's a great tool. It's 3 days of that, and it starts to really help show you the difference between what's yours and what's not yours. And it's amazing how much you don't have to deal with when it's not yours.
Yeah. And Holly, I see you were saying you do have some empath talents and abilities. If it's light for you, Ryan Dean, who works with Hank and I up at Holistic Health and Healing, he has a class geared towards empaths and how to basically live on the planet as an empath and not have all the crazy, zany taking on of other people's energy that we as empaths tend to do. So Ryan Dean has some really good tools in his empathic empowerment training course and meetup events. So maybe check him out if that's on
She
play.
knows him. Yeah,
Okay.
I know Holly. I know she knows him. So I'm pretty sure she's getting some of those tools already. But for those of you who don't know Ryan, there's actually a Facebook empathic heal. What does he call it? Now I just went out of my head. But every morning
Empathic
at like
empowerment.
No, it's like Empathic Healings Live, Facebook Live. And so every morning he
Okay.
does at 9 o'clock, he live streams to his Facebook group. And it's free to join. Anybody can join it, and you can like, ask comments and interact just like you're doing with us here. And anyway, he does that every morning at 9 o'clock, at least during quarantine, and then afterwards he was doing it like once a week. He's just doing it every day now. Maybe he'll continue doing it every day. I don't know. Yeah,
Who
and
knows?
Holly said that she's been taking that class and she sees him frequently. Columns cleanse.
Yep.
This is
Oh.
a great little technique that Ryan teaches too. So you definitely go back and look through his video archive. I think he has a video that he talks about how to do the columns cleanse, which is just a process of, I like calling it empath dialysis. It's a way of connecting with an energy flow to let everything kind of rinse through you and clear you out. So great little tool, but you got to go work for it. You got to go find his video where he talks about it and find it for yourself.
Or show up and ask him, hey, Ryan, can you do this thing called columns clearing?
Yeah, columns clearing would be a great thing. And I'm going to post a link to his Facebook group as soon as I find it here. So if you're interested in empathic stuff, which is probably everybody who ever watched this video, this is a Facebook group I'm going to post in the comments that you can connect with Ryan on that. Here we go. Empathic Healings FB Live is the name of the group, and I'll have the link now.
What does the FB stand for?
Facebook.
Okay.
There we go. And if you are on my personal profile page watching this, for whatever reason, the comments don't show up on my personal profile all the time. So you can head over to the Holistic Health and Healing Facebook page and you can grab it from there. Or I will actually put it as a banner real quick, which will work too. So you can actually just write it down or put it in your internet search box, and not internet search box, Facebook search box, but that is the whole thing. Facebook.com/groups/empathic healings live.
Those are forward slashes. But
okay,
that's
forward
okay.
slashes. You know, tech. You're the tech guy. I'm not the tech guy. So how embarrassing though. / backward slash. Isn't it just a point of view?
It's a slash of a sort. Yeah, if you're upside down, the forward slashes look backwards. So.
But I mean, depending how you write it, if you start from here and go this way, it's a backslash, right? Just on the keyboard. If you're typing
it depends which way you read it. Are you reading it right to left or left to right? I mean,
case in point of view creates your reality. I'm just digging myself in deeper. Oh, good Lord. Someone ask us a question to save me from backslashing myself here.
Yeah.
No, but if you do have questions or comments, feel free to post them and we will speak to them. But we were just, if you're just joining us, talking about asking the question, who does this belong to or is it mine? If you're empathic and picking up on the trauma and drama in the world as a great tool to use to kind of clear all that out. So good stuff. Okay. Good for you, Mike. Magic Mike. Always fun. So, let's see. What question could we ask that will create the greatest possibility for our conversation today? What topic could we talk about that would create the greatest possibility? Well, we're just inspired to throw out a book title too. If for those of you who are new to Access concepts, probably my favorite Access book is a book by Dr. Dane here called "Being You, Changing the World." And I won't talk too much about all the contents of the book, though a great question to ask yourself every single day that would be resonant with the book is, how could I be more of me today and share that with the world than any day before now? And by asking that question every single day, you start to put yourself on this spiral where you're going to be just allowing yourself to be more and more, because we all hold ourselves back so much because of whatever fears we might have or whatever reasons. But asking that question, you're putting out to the universe, give me opportunities every day to express my beingness more and more in the world. So I'll throw that one out as a great question for you to ask to create more in your life. And read that book, which is a great book.
Yeah. It's about being you and changing the world.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, it's in the title. Speaking of Access books, though, if you are curious about Access and the Access books, if you're new to Access or maybe you're in Access and are just looking to read one of the books with a group of people, John Wheeler, CF from Dayton, Ohio, is doing a book club on one of the books.
Mike is asking or offering another Access book. It's called Relationships, Are You Sure You Want One? And it's all about really taking the view of relationships and shifting it into the space of creationships. And it's an entirely different experience if you're in creationship with everything instead of relating to everything. So that's another little book. We're just giving all the Access books today. So
yeah, we're gonna give the books. Yeah. So it's the book that John will be doing a book club on is Living Beyond Distractions. He's going to do that as every week. He's going to do a Zoom call and go through the book. So that's another possibility. Great chance to work with John. He's a trained Access certified facilitator, so he can assist with any questions. Sometimes the topics, and especially if you're new to Access, can be a little different. So having kind of a guiding hand along the way to clear up some of the concepts can be nice. Just because it can be kind of like, what the heck are these people talking about? Like that is not my reality. I'm open to a new reality. Just getting from where you're at to where Access can put you can be a pretty big jump. So having a facilitator to facilitate that transition can be pretty good. So Hank, if you can hop that link over into the thing maybe for John's thing.
Yep, I just put it in the chat, and I will put it on a banner real quick too, just in case you aren't getting the chat messages.
Yeah.
And I will say that we had a 10-week series with Heather McMillan. I call her that on purpose. She likes the McMillian instead of Millen. But we was doing the How to Become Money workbook, and just having a CF there as we were going through it, that she was doing facilitation and clearings and stuff, it made a huge difference in our experience. So I'm assuming that it would be the same thing with John Wheeler. So I put it in the comments, and if you are watching this, you can always go back on the replay, freeze it here, and write that down, and you'll find that event on Facebook. So how does it get any better than that?
Yeah, and that's the Living Beyond Distractions. Is the book they'll be talking about. I suppose we could mention that.
Yeah, I assume is that book, I've never read it, is that about distractor implants?
I think it's about in your life. So how often in our lives are we distracted from what truly matters or what we truly like to change? How often do we have the TV on and the radio going and the kids screaming and we're trying to do this and that and we're doing 10 things at once. And it's like we're just totally distracted from being the space that we're capable of being. I think that's kind of what they get into with that, where you're distracted from the true possibilities that are available to, and how often are we um, almost unconsciously just you know go- you know distracting ourselves from what's really possible. You know, which covers a lot of ground. How much distractions are there in the media and the news and gossip, and how many things do we think are important that are really just distracting us from the highest purpose that we're here to achieve. So um, I have not read the book. I am just going off of some gut feel and intuition that is pieces and parts of what will be covered.
Very cool. Sounds good. I might have to sign up depending on when it is. I'm sure you can always catch the replays too.
Yeah, so it'll be starting next Monday, April 27th, the book club with John. So if you're interested, check him out. Mention that Hank and Sean sent you to him.
Oh,
He'll get a
it's an
chuckle.
endorsement. Oh, good. A chuckle. Are you getting a kickback, Sean? You can be honest. No.
No, I did ask John though. I said, "Hey, if I plug this for you, what am I going to get?" So I really just do it to mess with him.
Cool.
And John, if you're watching this, hi.
Well, John, if you're watching this, I hope you contribute and make a comment. Feeling nothing's more than feelings. Yeah. Just seeing some more of the links here too. And with access, I'm assuming it has to do with the distractor implants. Like Sean said, like where are we fragmenting ourselves with distractions and not showing up for our own experience? And we have like this little autopilot. They call it. Well, there's an acronym in Access for it. It's called the BECAMEX, but it's an acronym for basically all the things where we create this autopilot that it's the one brushing your teeth and it's the one driving your car. And how often have you ever driven somewhere that by the time you get there, you don't even remember the drive because you were just off somewhere and distracted and not showing up for the experience. So that would be another great takeaway from tonight is show up for everything in your experience. Don't allow your autopilot to take over. And just that, when you're consciously present, you're in the space where you can ask a question when something comes up instead of getting blindsided. And you can shift from the energy of reacting into the energy of responding. And it's a whole different world when you're consciously showing up.
Yeah. And I'd say, if you're catching this on the replay, what are you looking to change today? What are you looking to have as a possibility in your life? What would you like to change that hasn't changed? Would you be willing to, go to a new place, ask yourself a question, some of the ones we've talked about, to get you to some other possibility and unlock the power of the possibilities that are truly available to us. What would it take for you to take that leap and start playing with the tools and asking questions and engaging more?
Right. You use the power of possibilities a lot in that. That's great.
Well,
I know it's the name of the night, right?
it may be the name of the thing.
Oh no, I don't want to go there. Let's see. What question could we ask? Well, first, if you're watching and you have a topic or a question or a statement that you want us to play off of, go ahead and throw it in, and we will see what we come up with.
It can be silly too. It doesn't have to be serious. You don't have to give us, my life is breaking down, please help. It can be, hey, I saw this thing, it was cool.
Oh, but last week we had all these great puns because of stuff that came up. We were talking about binaural beats and like how corny it was with the farmers. And, like it really turned into like this whole dialogue and almost a comedy routine by the end. So it doesn't have to be serious. In fact, the less serious, the better, possibly, because there's not a heaviness to it, and we can play off of that too. So whatever is on your mind, feel free to let us know. And if you're
I got California on my mind.
California,
isn't that a song?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, it's totally a song.
Okay.
How come you get none of my musical references, Hank? What do you listen to?
Krishna Das.
Who?
So there you go. It's like chanting and stuff from India.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what? Well, Bonnie, you should know this. What tool can you use to keep yourself from going on autopilot? Well, one, go back and read your bars manual because I know you took the bars class, and there is a whole section on Becamex, and if you need to, you can rerun the clearing. But my one teacher, Param, would say the first step is to simply notice. Notice when you're on autopilot, and just the act of noticing is enough to bring you out of that. And just check in with yourself as much through the day as possible. Uh, and if you want more play on that, write another comment and we can check in with it too. And Amy's saying, if you had a blockage, how would someone know? Is a blockage around something in particular? Are you talking like just a energy block, like a clogged chakra or something like that, or something more specific?
Yeah.
And she knows who Krishna Das is. Yeah,
Well,
so
that's good.
yeah, she loves Krishna Das. So cool. I got one person on my side.
Hey, I learned something new. Maybe we need to play some Krishna Das chanting.
Yeah,
And
you
listen.
definitely should try it. It was a godsend with my kids. I would just play that, and they would just kind of chill out. It bought me like an hour before they were like ready for mom. Then gave her a little energy blockage in a chakra.
Well, it sounds like you know. So how do you know that? Is your question more of how would you unblock that? Because it sounds like you would be somebody and you have perceived that there's a blockage there. So, what are you willing and ready to unblock in that chakra?
But to go back just a hair more, what's the word I want to use? Kind of more of an overview. Like if you were just going about your day, and you're like, blocks, I don't know anything about blocks, and like if you like how to even know if you had a block. Would be the question, like what things just aren't working in your life. Like if you're looking to do stuff and things aren't actualizing and they aren't manifesting, that would be a time to stop back and say, well, what's going on here? Notice I didn't say why. Why is a question you don't like to ask because the universe just gives you more experience as to why something's not working out. But you could ask the question like, what would create a change here? What could I do with this? And even if you're not identifying as a block, what you are doing is you're putting the energy out into the universe that says, hey, something's not going according to what I would like to see in my life. What could I do differently? And just see what shows up and then work with it. But now specifically a chakra, there is a bazillion tools to do that, from sound therapy to toning. Like each, I don't know if I still have it listed here. I had like no, I deleted it, unfortunately. But
Yeah. Well, like, you're the Reiki guy, right? You're the Reiki master. So I believe you can do attunements and stuff for the chakras as well, right?
You could run different energy flows, whether it's Reiki or from something else. Even the columns cleanse that we were talking about earlier from Ryan's thing, just clearing out the gunk. Because if you are blocked, like, is that block even yours? Like we were talking about, who does this belong to? Is what's holding you back really something that's going on with you, or is your awareness and taking ownership of other people's stuff clogging you up? And all you need to do is say, hey, not my monkey, and send that back to the originating source or whatnot, and then your block is gone because it wasn't your block to begin with. So I think that's like a big chunk of people's things, is it's just their own awareness of other people's limitations that they're now accepting as their own.
Yeah, I like that, Hank. That's not my monkey.
That's not my monkey. No,
that's not my monkey. Which is, of course, a joke on the "it's a monkey on your back." Is it even your monkey?
Right, exactly. Is it even your monkey, or does it belong to someone else? And be like, well, this is your monkey to deal with, not mine. But as empaths and as you step into awareness, we sometimes get into this trap of being aware of somebody else's reality, and without having been brought up with tools to distinguish between what's ours and what's not ours, we start to take ownership over the stuff that's not ours, and that's probably the most gunkifying stuff that blocks us, is just our own awareness of other people's shit.
Yeah. De-gunkify. To get rid of gunk.
Yeah. those monkeys belong to the world as an empath. Yeah. So like, as an empath, especially, get the app on the phone. Who does this belong to, or whatever it's called? And
Yep.
every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you can set it to different intervals. And whenever that goes off, it's just your reminder, oh, who does that belong to? And you can actually get into the space of training yourself that before it even comes in to become gunk and blocking you, you've already said, who does this belong to? And if it's not yours, you send it packing, send that monkey back.
Send that monkey packing. Take your bananas and split.
Oh, look at that. The punning has begun. Uh, it's really bad when you can sit there and laugh at your own jokes. Oh man.
They're pretty funny though.
That was a good one. That was better than the last week. Well, last week people were making the jokes and I wasn't even picking up on it. I was oblivious that there were even puns going on. What's the app? The app is called Who Does This Belong To? I'm gonna just double check that. Who does this belong?
It should be. It's an Access Consciousness app. So if you look up Access Consciousness in the App Store or Play Store, depending if you're Apple or Android, you should see it come up.
Yep, and it is the Who Does This Belong To app. And then
Degunking, degunkification.
Degunkification.
Degunkify your monkey.
Oh yeah, she says this should be a blog post. Gunk degunking, degunkification. We could totally do a whole topic probably on just that. Oh, great. And I have a link here. This is to the Access Consciousness website. It has information about the app. It has a little video of Dr. Dane here talking about the app. So you can download it there. Now, it only shows here for iOS. I thought it was available on Android as well, but on the website here, I think it is available on both. I would be kind of surprised. But here is the link. And if you're on my personal profile on Facebook, hop over to the Holistic Health and Healing page or Bars with Sean page or Power Possibility page. The comments do show up there, sometimes not on the personal profiles. And Mike asked, Sean, how about Practitioner Read of Advanced? I think he's talking about the How to Become Money workbook, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yes, he is. I think you're talking about doing a practitioner's night focused on the advanced How to Become Money workbook, Mike. That definitely sounds like a cool possibility. I would be interested. Maybe we can get Heather to come in and read that one with us.
That would be fun.
Maybe we can pull Heather down.
We could even do that virtually. We don't even have to have her here, right?
Yeah. Can you virtually become a money workbook?
Why not?
What
else is possible? Don't limit me.
I just asked, can you?
We'll see. And my phone's dead, so I can't check my Play Store because I'm on Android. But I'm pretty sure Mike probably could tell us. He has like 8 different cell phones. Like, is it available on Android, Mike? Do you know? I
have an Android. I guess I could look.
Yeah, why don't you look? We can double check.
Well, at one time it definitely was on the Play Store, but I think the reason it's not anymore is because it didn't work. So
well, that would be unfortunate then. Well, if you're on Android and it doesn't work, then pick. I'm sure that you could just set random alarms and like remind yourself at the top of every hour and that type of thing.
Yeah. Who does this belong to? It is available for Android. So I don't know what crazy affiliations Access has with Apple. Their app is on both platforms, though.
Yep. Just to give you a little bit. So, actually, nah. Oh, it just says 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions do not belong to you. They belong to everyone else. But what you are aware of often feels just like you, even if it's not. So that's just a little sidebar of him explaining it for himself. But what if your mind has been full of other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions? What if you could just let them go? Would that make your life easier? Hell yeah, it would make it easier. Okay. Cool. So, does anybody have a question or a topic that you'd like us to go in a direction, or we can come up with something random? Because we don't keep talking, Sean, they're going to make like a banana and split. See, I just wanted to regurgitate the same joke. Not quite as with a good delivery like you did, but
Yeah, that was pretty rotten.
rotten banana. You got me again. Look at that.
Yeah, you slipped on that one.
Oh, man.
You could say it wasn't very fruitful.
You know, I wonder, is it possible we could get together and just do a whole hour of puns?
Yeah. Would you concede that point? Okay,
Was
that wasn't as good. See, concede, seed, fruit. Okay, that one needed some work.
looking? I don't have anything here. Oh.
Still funny. Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay. Well, I'll do this just to get one back at you. Sean, your puns are terrible.
You've used that before. That's cheating.
But I still like it.
Okay, let's go for this one. Hey, Hank, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you're glad I didn't say banana.
Oh, I fell right for it. Oh, man. Yeah, Holly says we need a snare drum. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, we're here for another 45 minutes. So
Give or take. Actually, it's this. Well, there was a German school board meeting that started at 8, and I even told them like I can't be on until at least 8:30, so I get out of like the first half hour of board meeting stuff. So, what else is possible? We want to go long tonight? No.
yeah, start throwing questions down. Thanks, try to get out of German school.
Yeah. So let's see. Random. Ooh, let's do this. Random spiritual topic. Let's see what comes up.
I hope it's bananas.
No, but 186 questions. I don't know if I.
Oh no, not questions.
Uh-oh. I don't even know what this means. What is the difference between never mind. I'm just going to a different website. That's terrible. Spiritual conversation starter. Here we go. Tactful. Oh, evangelical conversations. I don't know if we want to touch this.
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to go to the evangelical ground here.
Wow. Yeah, this is. Actually, we probably could trigger a lot of stuff that can come up to get cleared, but we'll go a different route with that too. Or how about from the found? Oh no, where I was about to go is not good either. What's right about this? I'm not getting. What are the infinite possibilities that we could have tonight? What question could we ask to create the greatest possibility?
Yeah. Yeah, this is usually where we have a break in the action. So, this is Power of Possibilities with Sean Edward Phillips and Hank Satala. Live. Setala. Hank Setala. I will get that right one day. Setala.
It's close enough. Hey, I could play the Phoenix guy just for fun. That would be good. No. Okay.
No.
We'll wait.
So, does anybody know the latest? Since I do the Avengers type stuff, I think there's supposed to be a Black Widow movie coming out.
After
I haven't seen when it's going to come out now. It's probably after quarantine.
Definitely, like Disney pushed back all their things. So I have a topic. I'm just getting my little thing that I created.
Yeah, if you're into Disney Plus and into Star Wars, check out season 7 of the Clone Wars animated series is currently airing. It's a very good show. I recommend starting with season 1 though, because it might be kind of weird to start at season 7.
All right. So kind of going on something you had mentioned earlier with the book with John Wheeler, one of the things about being distracted is an access to have these different types of distractor implants. And one of them that I'm going to bring up is fear. And here's a little acronym that I found that I really like for fear. It's feeling excited and ready. So when you're feeling afraid or whatnot, if you can reframe it in a way that will create a possibility instead of being um, something that stops you from doing something, could you shift the energy of fear into something where you could actually experience a greater possibility and step into something different that you might not have otherwise? There we go.
Yeah,
I just like my graphic. I
that's
thought I
pretty
could use
fun.
it. Yeah, isn't it?
Pretty
Little tight
cool.
wear pack.
Yeah, and how much fear is going around with COVID-19 and the coronavirus?
Just saying COVID-19 made me think of that awful, awful video that we watched in that Zoom call, and
Oh
that's in
no,
my head. Oh no!
that was the energy that popped for that because yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. Topic starter. Speaking of movies, I've heard there's a new movie Secret coming out.
The
I've not heard.
Secret. The
I've not heard that.
Secret.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of The Secret, but a lot of other people were. Uh,
I am not familiar with The Secret. What's
it's
The Secret, Hank?
it's basically
Or
like
Holly?
a law
Or
of attraction
oh,
type of book. And there was like one person that went to a whole bunch of different spiritual teachers and leaders at the time and compiled different quotes all into one book. So like as you go through it, it's like quotes from Neil Donald Walsh and Greg Braden, I think Greg Braden, and a whole bunch of other people. But I haven't heard that there was. I'm sure there could be a number two. They made a lot of money with the first one, so why not make a sequel, right?
yeah. Well,
The
that could
new
be cool with all the quotes, Hank, to do quotes on the show here and talk about them
to
and
do that.
what we perceive.
Oh, and
And
she is right. 2000, The Secret, Dare to Dream official trailer. So it looks like Dare to Dream. Sounds like you have to dare to have a possibility, doesn't it, John?
it does. It sounds an awful like that. You have to dare to dream and be daring enough to. Well, isn't a dream just a possibility that you perceive
Yeah, and from the
or something you perceive as possible?
shamanic world, they say that you're dreaming your reality into existence. So, like, what dream could I have today that would create possibilities in my perceived reality? And whatever's preventing me from having ease around that, I let
Yeah,
go. I let go of it.
yeah.
Let's see. So here is I got some random quotes from the book The Secret. Actually, I could share it too. There is always something to be grateful for by Rhonda Byrne.
Oh, well, that's pretty potent. Always something to be grateful for. Yeah. Gratitude and grateful and being grateful. Really powerful things. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Share that. So here's some other quotes. Can you see them? Woohoo. So let's see what else we got. Actually, just one note on gratitude. That was a mantra that really helped me out when I was getting sober. That my sponsor gave me was the mantra: self pity and gratitude cannot coexist. And if you find yourself being in a space of just like judging yourself or feeling powerless over something, to put it in the context of a gratitude statement. So for me, for example, there was someone in my life that also drank a lot, and I was said I wish I could help him, and I felt powerless over it. And the way my sponsor had me reframe it was to ask the question, I'm so great, or it's a gratitude statement. I'm so grateful that I'm in a space of sobriety that if and when the person's ready for help, that I'll be able to be of service. And it shifted everything. So wherever you're stuck with self pity or whatever the case is, even if it's a word game, a mind game, at the beginning, over time, you really shift into a whole new world of beingness. So let's see. There is no such thing as a hopeless situation. Every single circumstance of your life can change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a lot of the I have an interesting take on hope. I think the energy around hope is very flat. There's not a lot of possibility to me, at least my point of view, is that when you talk about hope, it it's really not about possibility. It's kind of like you're just waiting for something to happen. There's nothing dynamic. It's like, well, I hope that'll happen.
Like,
But
I hope I get a new job.
yeah, but you're not really moving any energy with that, in that you're actively doing something, or putting into place, or doing things that might actually actualize you having a new job or something different. So when they're talking about hope in general, understanding the intention behind that quote, that you can change anything and that anything is possible. Just with hope, a lot of times it's like, that's kind of flat. And it's really, really different if you ask a question, because that actually is more empowering to create something, instead of asking, oh, I hope, or saying, I hope I get a new job. That's kind of just leaving it out there. Like, well, not sure. If you ask, instead of saying, well, I hope I get a new job, if you ask, what would it take for me to get a new job? Then you're opening up a possibility for a new job to show up. When you ask the universe, the rule is, or the way the universe happens to work, at least in this reality, not in this reality, the way the universe works. Whoa, the way the universe works is getting pretty out there now. Sir Patrick, well, let me explain the universe as simple as I can. No, generally it's the ask and you receive. That's just something that's available. That's why the questions work. If you don't believe us, I dare you to try it. So when you ask the question, with a job, what would it take for me to actualize a new job, or what would it take for me to change my work situation? That's creating a different possibility than just kind of sitting back and saying, well, I hope this changes. It's a very non-proactive stance. It's very passive in the way that you're going about it. And it's not a wrongness. It's just an observation to have. How often do you find yourself hoping something will happen, and you haven't even taken the steps to actually change it? I know, Hank, you have a good one around that, where you actually have to do something to change it. Don't you have a good?
Spirit gave it to me the other day during Stir Crazy Shamans, where it's like, if you put something out to the universe and then you never do your part, it's like getting on a rowboat and only the universe is rowing and you're not doing your part, so you just keep going in big circles. It feels like you're going somewhere, but you're just going in a big circle because you're not doing your own. What actions could I take to help facilitate this coming into my life from the universe? Like, if you're looking for a job, maybe polish up your resume, maybe actually go look to see what's possible, instead of just waiting for the massive layoff that will happen 3 years from now, and the universe will force you to take action. But you could be proactive and do your part.
Yeah, I think the new quote that I got out of that is row your own boat.
Right. Well, row your side of the boat and the universe rows the other side. It's like a co-creation thing,
I was going to say, it's something like the universe is like the motor that then kicks in and kicks it into hyperdrive. That's when your ship turns into a spaceship instead of just a little row ship.
Yeah, then you take off into the cosmos.
Yeah, so get on your cosmic boat ride.
Yeah, that makes me think of Willy Wonka. Have you ever seen the original movie where they're going through that weird tunnel?
Oh yeah, that chocolate tunnel, man. That, as a kid, that was so scary.
Bad. Yeah, it was actually rated one of the most scary scenes in a kids movie ever. Was from Willy Wonka and that boat ride.
Just the psychedelics and the colors that they flash in that chocolate ride. It's after who falls into the chocolate river?
Oh, Augustus Gloop.
I think it's Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, something like that.
Augustus Gloop falls into the river and he gets Oompa Loompa'd.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So you ready for another secret quote that we can reframe?
Oh boy.
All right, so here goes another. Oh, actually, I can do the screen share thing again, so people can see it too. Boom. So I was looking at this, the one here in the middle on the left. The truth is that the universe has been answering you all of your life, but you cannot receive the answers unless you are awake, by Rhonda Byrne. But that's another
Okay.
Rhonda Byrne one. Cool.
That's pretty potent.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
You know, because our ability to receive, like there could be, it kind of reminds me. Have you ever heard, or I don't know if I've ever done it on this show. Have you ever heard like the story of the guy who he's in his house and there's this? Bye, Holly. Thanks for coming up.
Thanks for
Coming first time
stopping by.
you gave us a good topic starter, so it's all good. Thank you for
Yeah.
your
Thanks for
contribution.
contributing. Be well. Or
Uh,
don't. I won't make you be well. But
yeah, choose to be well if you'd like, or not. At Access, they have an actual paid position called kitten herder because they know people are going to do what they do anyway. So just choose what you choose. But anyway, there is this guy who this flood is coming and the water's rising up, and he's like, "God, you got to save me!" And the people come up in a rowboat. And they're like, sir, get in. And he's like, nope, God's going to save me. And then the water keeps rising. He's like on the second floor of his house now, like looking out the window as a motorboat comes by. And they're like, sir, come on, we'll bring you to safety. He's like, nope, God's going to save me. And now he's on his roof. And this helicopter comes and they lower down a ladder and say, sir, grab the ladder. We'll take you to safety. He's like, nope, God's going to save me. And of course, the guy drowns. And he goes up to heaven. He's like, God, what's up, man? You were supposed to save me. And God said, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. What else could I do? And the idea is that the universe is delivering us opportunities to change our situation all the time. All you have to be willing to do is like receive it, like get on the boat.
that's
Like,
all it takes.
yeah, take the opportunity. When the
It's that
opportunity
easy.
presents itself, you take it, and so often we're not even showing up for any of that, and we totally miss it. And the next thing you know, you're drowning because you missed out on all the possibilities that were sent your way from the universe.
Yeah. And a great way to learn about receiving or in general is go get your Access Bars run. We do a monthly night when we're not in crazy lockdown up at HHH in Cleveland or North Olmsted, Ohio, where you can come and get your bars run. And the bars are all about receiving. So whether you're in the local area by Hank and I, or you're just out in the world, there's Access practitioners throughout the globe, throughout the U.S. Go to the Access Consciousness website, punch in your local municipality or area and see who comes up, and reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to try this thing out. It's about receiving. It's really cool. Access Bars. You can check out the Access Consciousness website. It tells you all about Access Bars. But it kind of goes into that receiving piece where, a lot of times it's not something we do particularly well. We don't always realize that that's the case. According to Access, though, and from personal experience, that can be the case until you kind of put yourself in a space, in a place where you basically, it's kind of like you have no choice but to receive. And once you kind of start to allow that receiving to happen, you'll notice a lot of different changes happening. And what was the name of the woman who had that quote, Hank?
Oh, I changed it already. It was, I don't know.
Rhonda?
Yeah, something Rhonda. I'm looking for it, but of course it's not here. Got to go back up. Okay, yeah, Rhonda Byrne, Byrn.
Yeah. So, like Rhonda Byrne said in her quote, the universe is always is constantly giving you, or in your entire life, it's been offering you possibilities or offering you a chance or something different. It's always responding to what you ask and what you demand and what you put out there. You have to actually being able to receive it, like Rhonda mentioned. When we're not willing to receive what the universe has to offer, we probably can imagine that we may not have the abundance that we would like, or that we think we don't have, when all we have to do is reach out or be willing to receive. So short story, Access Bars, really good way to get more into the energy of receiving. And there's a book as well. It's one of the money books. Money's Not the
Not the
Problem.
you
You
are.
are.
Yeah,
By
great
Gary
book.
Douglas. By Gary M. Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness. So if you can't get, if you can't get the bars right now, that book, Money is Not the Problem You Are, is available on Audible and on the Amazon bookstore. Check it out. Also talks about receiving, especially in regards to money. Receiving
Yes.
money is a relatively big block for many people.
Right. And money is just it's really just an energy in the way they teach it in Access. And one tool that they give,
You're giving it all away, Hank.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's
But
just energy.
yeah, it's just energy.
It's
No,
all just energy.
but the ability to receive it is like if you close your eyes and just say, have the intention to pull energy into your field from all around you, people have a very easy time visualizing energy in general. But now if you say, now change that to receiving money from all around you, and then people have a huge resistance. And so like getting over the whatever the points of view or the subconscious things that we have around receiving and money is something to look at too. Say, listen, I didn't go fully down the rabbit hole with it. I kept it.
You didn't go too far. And I think what makes it, as we're just talking about energy and money in the same topic, for those that have read the Bible and pay attention to that, the way that Jesus is in the Bible is that he pretty much just creates money, just like by walking and being, and says, don't worry about it. Because if everything's just an energy, then, is money really that significant? And if you're willing to be in that space where, money is just an energy, truly in the space of it, it can be that easy. It's just, that's not what we're taught. Because even though, at least as a kid, I know for me, it's like I read that in the Bible, and it's like, oh, I get that, and then it's like, then you go through all your life, and nobody actually is like that, so you start to assume like, well, that must not be possible.
Right. Or just the things we're ingrained with growing up, like you have to work hard to get ahead. Why couldn't it be easy? And if you have the idea that I don't want to work hard, therefore I'm happy with settling for less, then you're trapped into that paradigm. And what would it take for you to break that old paradigm and shift into the space where money and abundance can just flow easy, and not be trapped with all the subconscious programming from our youth?
Yeah, and how many belief systems have we bought into that are actually limitations of what's possible? That if we broke down the belief system, that it could be different. There could be something else.
And I know I shared with it on past shows where as a kid, one of the things I got stuck with was the idea that rich people aren't really happy. So if you have a lot of money, that means you can't be happy because rich people need all that stuff around them to substitute for happiness. And so if I really believe that, if I'm looking to create abundance and wealth in my life, but I really had the idea that if I have that, I would not be happy, and I'd rather be happy than be rich, then what am I going to create, despite what I may consciously be choosing?
Yeah, and that's also in the book, Money Isn't the Problem You Are, as well. Gary M. Douglas and Dr. Dane talk about that. Dr. Dane here specifically in that book brings that topic up, Hank, about the thing that you said that just went.
You just got cleared.
Yeah, that just went completely out because I'm, it's that it's that thing. It's that thing right now.
Today has a weird energy, doesn't it? Like, or is it just me? Like, everything, like, I don't know. It's just an oddity, like an odd little flow tonight compared to what we normally experience for whatever reason. So, destroy and uncreate anything that's causing that, or is it just in my head?
It's been a little different. I think it's a bit slower maybe today. And just
well, that, or maybe people aren't used to finding us online today because we usually just do it once a month, and we're like, well, as long as the Corona thing's happening, let's do this weekly until we get through that and all, and just be a contribution for people. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Just
sometimes it's just opening up the space. That's all it's just needed.
Open. What space could I be to have the infinite possibilities of the universe be delivered to me instantly with total ease? Okay. I don't want to go to go too crazy
What
with the
if
questions.
just being on the call and hanging out, Hank, that is the contribution.
No, true. That from what some of the other ones that we've been doing, like I've gotten messages from people saying it's just like something to heighten their day, just having the interaction, whether they're actually asking a question or not. Like having people that they know doing stuff like this is just a highlight for them. So you never know. It could just be that, or they just see that picture in the background and like, wow, that's a really cool picture. And it
Yeah,
just brightens your day a little bit.
undoubtedly. Everybody is trying to be like Peter Quill's Star Lord in the Avengers, and I
And
think he's probably in some comics
what about your shirt? You're
and
sporting the
Guardians of the
Disney
Galaxy.
shirt too.
Yeah, we're sporting the Marvel Avengers Shield shirt today. Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. Um, as they say in the first Iron Man film, they do end up abbreviating that to Shield because that's a mouthful.
Right. You might find this hard to believe. I've seen zero of the Avenger movies.
Okay, well, have you seen any of the Marvel films?
Is Spider-Man a Marvel?
Well, it depends which one, because technically Sony owns the rights, but Marvel was allowed to produce the current Spider-Man versions of the franchise.
I saw a current Spider-Man one where he turned down becoming an Avenger. That's the only one I've seen. Because Iron Man guy, I guess, was in that one.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah,
I think
so,
Spider-Man.
So that's it. And Deadpool, I saw part of a movie of Deadpool. If that's
okay.
Avengers.
Deadpool is Marvel, but he's not been incorporated into the Avengers universe. They actually have. I don't give it away, but yeah,
right, no spoilers.
Deadpool is not exactly Avengers material.
But the funny thing was, I was at, I don't know if you ever met Brian, the guy who I call Squirrel, but I was at his house and I had Max and Oliver with me and we were going to hang out or whatnot. He's like, oh, I got a fun little, movie, superhero movie we can watch with them. And he puts in Deadpool. Like 5 minutes, I'm like, dude, this is not a kid-friendly movie. It was totally out of his world, though, that he would have to think that it might not be appropriate for a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Part of me wants to say interesting point of view. That's not appropriate. I think that's an interesting. I think it's interesting to look at things like that, but at the same time, I think generally accepted. See, that's the thing. Like generally accepted parenting practices, you don't show things like Deadpool to your 5-year-old.
Right. Well, and maybe I wouldn't have an issue with it, but if they come home and repeat something, and then my wife has an issue with it, then that doesn't create ease in my life. So it might have been more oriented towards that. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of judgments around that, and proper parenting, and swearing, and exposing children to the real world. Because as bleeped up as Deadpool is at times, that there is stuff like that out there. So, is it really is it really more beneficial to have your kids watch Deadpool?
Could be either way. And if you ever take an access class with Gary, like he's actually swearing at the kids to be quiet. So there's no point of view around swearing in access, but maybe around ease with your other parent partner might be an issue. Cool. Well, I will have to catch up on the Avenger movies. So when you make all these references, I'll have a place to talk from.
The good news is that you can watch them all in like 37 hours.
37 hours.
Just start now and you'll be done by like 2 nights from now.
If I go,
you'll be done by CWG. Well, CWG is not going to be on Thursday, but you'd have it by CWG if you just didn't stop watching.
Yeah, and speaking of CWG, if you're tuning in or watching the center replay, we do a Conversations with God night as well, where we we read a little bit from the book and talk about principles from the works of Neil Donald Walsh. So if you're interested in that, that's going to be next Tuesday because I booked a class on Thursday, so we have to move it.
Yep, that will be Tuesday, April 28th, 2020.
And if you're catching at
7 p.m.
on an old
Eastern
replay,
Standard Time,
go to holistichealthandhealing.net and you can check out whatever the current schedule is. But we've been doing it for 10 years, so chances are we're still going to be doing it once a month.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Hank has been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
I have not.
But it feels like you have, because you came right up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just magic. It's cool. It's a cool series.
Yeah,
It's cool books.
cool.
I'm glad that Neil wrote them because they're awesome.
I'm glad too. I feel so blessed that
I'm
you
I'm
say it's
grateful for the
awesome.
books. Just like I'm grateful for Spider-Man and Iron Man.
I'm grateful that you're grateful, Sean. It's a
How
highlight of my
does it
day.
get any better than that? That we can be grateful that we're grateful.
And like, dude, that I'm so grateful that you're grateful that I'm grateful, and I'm grateful that you're grateful that I'm grateful that you're grateful. And let's just talk about grateful for the next 10 minutes.
I have so much gratitude for the fact that you just made a debauchery out of that. It's like a waterfall of cascading gratitude.
Well, whenever there's stuff like that, I gotta make. I forget the thing now from the whiteboard. Something, something, and uncreate, break,
Smash, break, and uncreate.
smash, break, and uncreates. Yeah,
Get
that's
that
what we.
monkey off your back.
That's what we do with
That's
limitations. We
not
smash,
your
break,
monkey.
and uncreate it.
That's not your monkey. Get
So
it off your back.
I got a great question, Sean. What is your number one favorite Access tool? If you, or any tool, you don't have to stick it to Access if you don't want to. But
My number one favorite tool, definitely the claw hammer. Really good for destroying walls and pounding in nails.
see, I didn't expect you to go, but you nailed that joke. See, I got one.
Yeah, I really hammered it home.
Oh, now you're just trying to pry another one up.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it works though. Yeah.
My number one favorite tool is probably How Does It Get Any Better Than This? That is my favorite tool. In this 10 seconds, and it has been probably for a little while. Totally an Access consciousness tool. We've talked about it on here before. It's a question. It's a tool and a question. It's a question tool. It's a question tool. And it goes, how does it get any better than this? And the reason I like it is because after I say it, I end up giggling.
That's the only reason?
It's part of it. It makes me happy to say, how does it get any better than this? Because it's this fun reminder to ourselves and acknowledging and asking the universe, how does it get any better than this? Because when we ask, like off the screen, when we ask that question, how does it get any better than this? Like all the questions that we talk about, the universe, it's ask and receive universe. So when we ask for it, when we ask for how does it get any better than this, the universe has to do the only thing it can do and show you how it gets any better than this, which makes it great for use both when things are going absolutely horribly, when you're down, when you're down in your luck, when you're down in the dumps, when you're sad, well, that's probably not yours, but when you're going through a tough time, how does it get any better than this? Really good, because the universe can only show you how it can get better than how it's going. And then what's even better about that, or how can it get any better than that, is that you can keep using it even when it's gotten better. So even when things are going great and really well, when you ask how does it get any better, it can probably get better. The universe will show you how it can get better. And it's one of these strange things, and one of the reasons that I thoroughly enjoy Access Consciousness is because it puts this whole paradigm like on its head and says, well, when you say, okay, yeah, things are good, it's kind of like a contentness. Like, yeah, things are good. They're not great. They're not phenomenal, but they're good. And it's like we're conditioned to have this belief that like good is like okay, like, oh, it's good enough. Like, and that's like, that's like socially acceptable. It's like, oh, that's good enough. Instead of like, how does it get better than this? And it's like, that's when you start to unlock like the extraordinary. Because it gets you out of this, essentially this ceiling that you put with, oh, that's good enough, or I can have this much and I'm good. you're really cutting off the possibility for the truly great magnificence that's available. So when you ask how does it get any better than this, it's kind of like your cheat code to say
Up, down, down, left, right, BA slur.
yeah, it's your secret cheat code. So hop right to the final boss, and then you can use another cheat code and beat the final boss. It's kind of like that when you're playing Super Mario Brothers. You can hop, you can warp right to level 8-4 and go beat Bowser and clear the game.
That brings up a really good point, though, because in Access they say specifically that the good points of view is what stick you most, because if something isn't not working, then you might not look for more possibility around it, where if something's not working for you, you might actively look to change it. And it's the difference in energy between it's as good as it gets and how does it get any better than this? Just because,
so I just find that how does it get any better than this to be just awesome. Use it, play with it.
No, don't use it.
Don't use it.
No, don't
play with it.
Yeah.
Don't have fun with it.
You don't want possibilities.
You couldn't handle that type of possibility, probably. You'd probably explode. You'd become cosmic particles.
Cool. And I think one of my favorite ones is the mantra of Access, which is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And using that 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, or however often you can think about it throughout the day, that combined with a tool like how does it get any better than this is just, daring the universe to bombard you with possibilities left and right. And to go along with that, I would also say to be consistent with your choosing, because one thing that creates a lot of not confusion, but misalignment in the universe is that in this 10 seconds we choose this, and then the next 10 seconds we're looking to choose something else, and the next 10 seconds we're looking to choose something else, and the universe goes to shift and bring all these things to us, but because we're always changing our mind, then there's no consistency. Sometimes it may feel like you're not getting results, but we're just not consistently choosing the things that are going to bring it to us.
And that gets into some deeper Access topics that we probably will not cover on this call. If you'd like to know about those, come see us in person, or
private Zoom.
Give us do a private Zoom and we can talk about those.
The swings are off limits. I'm not sure what the swings are, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about like the playground swings? You're talking about
playgrounds are off limits in general right now.
They are off limits. I'm not sure if this is a personal recollection or personal that you're saying. At least the porta potty is open. Is this because you went to the play? Is this because you're in Brecksville, Mike? Is this where you went to from Brecksville? You went to the porta potty?
I guess I never saw porta potty spelled out before. I never realized. I don't know if that's really spelled correctly or if that's how you do it, but porta potty. All right. How does it get any better than that? What else is possible? What are the infinite possibilities available to Mike because the porta potty's open?
Yeah, how does it get any better than that? The porta potty's open. Oh, yay, porta potty.
Yeah.
Dude, if you brought a porta potty to like the 17th century and was like, you can poop here. like defecate here, like people would their minds be blown, or was that like, when was the porta potty invented?
I think they would think it was a real shitty idea.
Yeah. yeah, a real crapper.
Oh man.
Yeah, that stinks.
Oh, too many puns. I'm on pun overload.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's working out for you, Mike, wherever you are in Brecksville.
I am curious, though. I am curious when were porta potties invented? Because they may have had them back in the day. It's kind of antiquated. You don't require like plumbing particularly for a porta potty. So I'm gonna Google it.
It's like, how do I make a transportable outhouse, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, there was some guy who was like, I'm going to bring this to, the gladiator games, right? He's thinking, man, we're at the Coliseum. All these people got to take a poop outside the stadium. I'm gonna, set up some porta potties.
Okay.
That's probably a thing. Look, there's a history of it.
And if you're just joining us or still with us, despite the way the conversation has gone, you can feel free to make comments or ask questions, and we're happy to speak to them, especially
Yeah.
if it gets us off the porta potty topic.
Apparently, it was 1940s.
1940s, 1960s. Bonnie says. Bonnie's still with us. Good for you.
1960s. Thank you, Bonnie. That seems to be pretty accurate. Yeah, we've really devolved here. It's really become degenerate.
But you never know. Like, this call could be just the thing someone needs to shift their world into a new possibility and rocket them into the fourth dimension.
Yeah. And what is it, sir or ma'am, that took you to a new possibility of greater heights? Well, these guys were talking about crappers and porta potties, and that just really got me in the possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, well, isn't that interesting?
Interesting point of view.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for sticking with us all the way through here.
Oh, let's see. Somebody just messaged me outside. Oh, Mike. Mike sent me a picture
of a porta potty.
I'm trying to. I can screen share it, I suppose.
You could if it's appropriate.
I don't know. No, it's just. Oh no, they got the swings roped off. Now that's just sad. That's what he was talking about. The swings are closed. Now relevance is another question, but yeah, let me stop the screen share. We'll put this up because Mike sent it, and we have nothing else to do, right? So we'll just. Oh wait, where'd it go?
I guess that's all we have to do is, yeah.
Oh, that didn't work, did it? Do you see anything? Oh, there we go. There we go. The swings are roped off. No playing for you.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. So they just took a little rope and sectioned off the swings. Now, what are kids going to do? Because they just announced school's basically done for the year.
Well, they're not going to go to the park and swing. I can tell you that. That possibility seems to be taken off the table.
Your kid just cut the rope, I suppose, but then people would frown upon that.
Yeah, no swinging. I think the Bible says that.
I think that might be an That's just an interesting point of view. I guess there's like clubs where you can go swinging, right? Not that I would know. Right.
I mean, you can know that. Whether you're actively participating is a different question,
right.
which is just a choice as well.
Yep, no judgment. Cool. Well, thank you, Mike, for being our playground patrol, checking that out.
Yeah. Yeah, where was that park? I'll make sure to not plan my swinging trip to that particular park.
If you have your own playground, like you could use that, right?
Yeah, you could use like your home playground swing.
But how do you know that kids didn't just like come and play on it when you weren't looking and now it's contaminated?
Oh, you might just have to take that risk. I mean, how do you know that, a chipmunk didn't come and poop on it?
Again with you with the poop.
I don't know. I was going to say raccoon. Raccoon.
You went with the chipmunk instead. Oh, great. So we got just a couple minutes left. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
We had always something to be grateful for. The show's almost over. Oh, no. It's good.
I mean, I've been grateful for this time.
No,
space.
There were some good things in there. I like the secret quotes. Maybe I'll throw one last one out there. Let's see. The secret to change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And that was from Socrates, actually. I don't know if that was really in The Secret.
Yeah, that one's kind of heavy.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're reframing it. So the secret of change is to be in the space of allowance and to not resist or react or align and agree with the perceptions around you. How about that?
Well, I was going to say more, the secret to change is asking a question so you can have a possibility.
Okay. The question to ask is, how could I be in the space of allowance? Okay, no, I like both. I was going with allowance.
How can I be in the space to have the possibility to have the.
Any final words of wisdom, Sean? Because we're at the 90-minute mark, and I'm sure my wife is very anxious for me to get on the journey.
No, I think between the bananas and the porta potties, I've given all my words of wisdom for the day.
I was hoping you would slip up and give us another one before we split.
You can't just keep reusing the same joke.
Why not?
That's how
brought up-
it gets old.
You brought up the bananas though, so I thought I would just regurgitate it once.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately I'm out of banana puns, so I can't even make a pun on that.
Okay, but
It's
thank you.
turning into compost. That's all I got.
So if you guys were with us, thank you so much for sticking around. I know it was a kind of a less engaging night because we didn't have as many comments, and that's what really fuels our dialogue is when people comment and contribute. But we will be back next Tuesday for Conversations with God. So definitely check that out.
April 28th,
April
7
20th.
p.m.
Yeah, and
Eastern Standard Time.
cool. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.